Forget everything you had planned for this weekend because you are sitting on your couch and winning from the comfort of your own home. I'm here with SpinQuest, where you can play hundreds of slot games, all of the table games you love, and you could even win real cash prizes. New users, $30 coin packs are on sale for $10 at spinquest.com.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit spinquest.com for more details.
Bermuda's pink sand paradise is only 2 hours away. Your island escape starts sooner than you think. Bermuda has it all. World-class golf, crystal clear snorkeling, and beaches that look unreal even when you're standing on them. Fly nonstop with Bermuda Air from BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport and experience the journey that feels like part of the vacation with a level of comfort that reminds you how good flying can be. Book now at flybermudair.com and get to the island that's closer and more incredible than you ever imagined.
Welcome to this week's Harness Racing Alumni Show. I'm Freddie Hudson, and I'm here today with Trade Martin and Bob Marks. This week's Harness Racing Alumni Show is brought to you by the Meadowlands Racetrack. Visit playmeadowlands.com. And Hunterton Farm, home of champions year after year. Visit huntertonfarm.com.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show with your hosts, Freddie Hudson and Trade Martin.
Joining us today is a 6-decade harness racing breeder, owner, and a professional gambler, Jeffrey Bell. Jeff, welcome to the Harness Racing Alumni Show.
Good morning, guys. Nice to be with you.
Hey, Jeff, now you're down at Sunshine Meadows, and you've come up with a booklet on the horses that are training down there. Can you tell us a little bit more about this booklet and how you came up with this idea?
Sure, I'd be happy to. You know, as an owner, I can recall going down to Pompano in the old days. I'm dating myself here. And when Billy Houghton was alive and well, and a lot of prominent barns. And there used to be a pamphlet produced by someone. I don't know who did it, but I'm going back to the 70s and 80s. And it used to identify the horses by name, their pedigrees, and a little, perhaps the ownership, something to that effect. And I thought that was great, and forgot all about it. And here I am 10 or 15 years ago, and I'm over at Sunshine Meadows watching some of my babies train. And I said, you know, it would be nice to revive something like that and to give someone an opportunity to see not only their horses, but some other folks, you know, equine athletes as well. And I came up with this idea, I think, back in 2018, and I produced what I call the Sunshine Meadows catalog roster. And I've done it for about 6 or 7 years, and unfortunately I had to take a sabbatical last year. I had a brief illness, but back because a lot of folks were saying to me they missed it. They missed the information that was provided in the catalog, as well as the enjoyment and just the camaraderie of just schmoozing with other folks and seeing not only their horses in training, as well as perhaps some older horses that are coming back into training as a 3-year-old or older, but to see their horses or perhaps even their friends or competitors, so to speak, in training. What the catalog roster has, the vast majority, if not almost 100% participation, I'm happy to say, by the trainers here. It lists the horse's name, obviously, first and foremost, along with the pedigree of the horse, the age, which is turning 2 now on our universal birthday of the 2nd, as well as their gait and their sex, whether it's a colt or a filly or even, you know, a ridgeling, if we happen to find that about the horse. And we list the ownership, who is the present owner, who is now listed on the registration, as well as where the horse was purchased, at what sale, what venue, either Lexington or Harrisburg or something perhaps smaller, and what the cost of the horse was, or if the horse happened to have been a homebred, which there are numerous amounts as well. And the horses participate each morning. They go about doing their exercise and their training. And as I mentioned, they're easy and to identify. So it's been something positive. I'm tired of all the negativity. in the business. It's something that I wanted to do that was on a positive fashion.
Now, do you supply the trainers with saddle pads and correspond them with the in the book?
We've done that for a bunch of years. However, it seemed like a lot of trainers were saying to me that they would prefer not to put a pad on the horse at this stage of the game. So we list them by roster, and it's very easily, once the trainer comes out on the track with basically his team of, whether it be a two-horse team or a four-horse team or even bigger, some of the larger stables, like a Ronnie Burke or a Linda Toscano or a Peter Wren or Paul Kelly. The Antonaccis are here with Lindy Farm, Domenico Ciceri. We're not any longer putting the saddle pads on, as I had mentioned, simply because of the fact that the vast majority of the trainers said they would prefer not to do that, Fred.
Okay. Now, you mentioned Burke is down there, Linda Toscano's down there. Who else is down there, and who's missing from previous years?
Well, the only one that's really been missing, gentleman moved a couple of years back and decided to go north. I believe that was Tony Alagna. He used to have quite a big string of horses down here in the winter. I believe Tony decided he wanted to train up north. But other than that, there might have been a little bit of a lull after the demise, unfortunately, of Pompano Park. But there are a lot of new fellas, and I'm starting to get some people that I wasn't even aware of. Some Canadians have come down, and like I said, Peter Wren is back. He was here a few years ago. Paul Kelly is here, being redundant, the Antonaccis. There was something in excess of over 250 horses training. I think capacity is just a little bit more than that. So we're almost, all filled up here, which is really exciting. You can go at any morning of the week, and predominantly on the weekends. We draw some nice folks in the morning that hang out on there are different, what we call the decks, where there are seats available, and anyone from the general public that would like to come and watch some horses go around in the morning, have a cup of coffee or a glass of orange juice with us, and perhaps a bagel or so, you're more than welcome to join us. It's a wonderful facility, and we get good vibes. It's something nice to do, Freddie.
Okay. Are they going to have some type of racing down there? Like, I guess they did Florida Sire Stakes last year. Are they going to continue that?
I believe so. They had a few Sire Stakes several weeks ago. Now, I think those were for the older horses. Obviously, the 2-year-olds are not ready to participate in any kind of event to that extent. But I'm sure as the weather gets warmer and before everybody breaks camp, sort of at the end of April or May and head north, there is some participation, and there are with the starting gate, and we have a starter, and they have on any number of Saturdays, at least we have been the last several years since Pompano closed, we'll have qualifying races in the spring. So I'm looking forward to that, as well as a lot of people do. It's with Pompano closing, it's an alternative. It's not Pompano, but it's an alternative. We're doing the best we can, and we're enjoying it. And anyone is welcome. And anyone is welcome to get their hands on my catalog. I'll provide an email address if I may, Freddie. And if anyone wants to send me their contact information, I would be more than happy to mail you on my dime. And if you don't want it mailed, I could send it to you over the internet. It would be JB, like my name, Jeffrey Bell, 8305 at yahoo.com. And just tell me you would like to have a 2026 Sunshine Meadows catalog roster so that you could not only see perhaps your horse, but maybe your friend's horse out on the track doing his morning routine and getting ready to, it's kind of exciting, Fred, this time of the year. A lot of people are clocking their horses and they're all excited. They just broke 3 minutes for the first time. It's a fun place to be. And it's something positive.
Now, do you accept advertisers in your booklet?
Yes. And that's the only reason why I'm able to do it. I I'm a man of modest means, so to speak. And fortunately, I've been very blessed to have a lot of nice friends in this business, from Russell Williams to Steve and Cindy Stewart, Mark McKelvey up in Canada, Steve Jones, Tom Grossman, the Mears family, as well as the trainers, as well as also Frank Antonacci, and then Domenico Citteri, Peter and Melanie Wren are so kind and generous each year, as is Paul Kelly. And it's a blessing that not only do they participate by giving us a roster to enter in the book, but they buy an advertising spot right next to their roster adjacent to it that helps me cover the cost of this. So I thank you for asking me that. And without that happening, this would be impossible to do. And also Jeff Corral in the Meadowlands and his New York tracks, Tioga and Vernon Downs, are participants. So we have a vast, and a broad range of advertisers, from racetracks to breeding farms to veterinarians to horse suppliers for their food and everything. So it takes, what do they say? It takes a village. It takes a lot to get something done. If someone had mentioned to me I'd be doing something like this later in my life as a hobby, after I've been retired now from my business for years, I wouldn't imagine that I'm doing something at this stage of the game, but I do it just for the fun of it. And I'm very blessed to have that happening, and it's enjoyable.
Now, have you already printed the booklet for this year?
Good question. Some people say, once the Super Bowl is over, there's nothing happening, and I say to them, you don't have to wait till February 14th for pitches and catches to report. Opening day has always been considered the first Saturday of the new year. So I am pleased to announce that this coming Saturday, January 3rd, 2026, if you show up at Sunshine Meadows, I'll be able to hand you a catalog roster in person so that you can identify these horses. It's approximately 75 to 80 pages filled with over 200 horses, equine athletes in their training, and as well as the participants that have helped make it possible, the advertisers in general.
Okay. And to get that catalog again, I'm going to ask you to repeat your email address so that our audience can hear it.
I'd be happy to, and I thank you for that, Freddie, and I thank you and Bob and Trent for producing this show that people enjoy listening to every week. And that email address, once again, is JB, like for Jeffrey Bell, 8305 @yahoo.com.
Okay. Jeff, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Well, it's my pleasure, and anybody that does something to promote and help promote our sport, in spite of all the difficulties we have a lot of good things going on as well. There are a lot of people that care about the retirement funds of the athletes afterwards, scattered all over the country and North America. And a lot of people, there are more people that want to put things back into it as opposed to taking out. And I'm glad to be a participant in it. And we're not going to be here forever. Hopefully we're leaving something that maybe a future generation or two will enjoy as much as we have over these years, Fred. And I want to thank you personally for putting out this show. You do a good job.
Thank you. This week's Harness Racing Alumni Show is brought to you by the Meadowlands Racetrack. Visit playmeadowlands.com. And Hunterton Farm, home of champions year after year. Visit huntertonfarm.com. That's a wrap for this week's show. Thanks for listening, and please join us again next week.
The Harness Racing Alumni Show.